Hey guys, it's Jim here, and today we're going to be talking about my new gigging amp, this lovely little Blackstar Studio10 6L6. Now, this isn't my first run-in with Blackstar amps or the Studio10 series. I had the KT88 version, which I thought sounded really good on the individual channels. However, in practice, there's such a big volume jump when you go from the clean to the overdrives. I thought there is no way I could ever use this in a practical situation, so when I moved, I sold it. But thankfully, no such issue exists with this. The level jump is very manageable. But before we get into the specs and to why I purchased this over a Blues Junior amp, let's hear what it sounds like. It is going to be using an SM57 going straight into the quad cortex, if you believe that or not, right into the computer, and that's it. There's going to be no processing whatsoever from the quad cortex, just using it as a mic preamp. Now, obviously, with 6L6 power tubes, you're going to be expecting this to sound like a Fender amp. It does that. It does that very well. One thing I like about this over the Blues Junior, well, two things. First of all, it has the effects loop. That's a big deal because part of the reason I chose this as my gigging amp is because I'm going to be using the quad cortex in the effects loop for everything I need to do for that side of things, including the reverb, but we'll get to that later. The other thing I really like about this outside of the Blues Junior are the two dedicated channels that you do get. But I love the fact that this comes with a 12-inch speaker. If you really wanted to get more authentic Fender-ish tone out of this, I think if you went with the Jensen, the C12Q, I think that's the one, that would drop right into this. And not only would it make the amp a little bit lighter because it's a smaller magnet, but I think it would get you a lot closer to maybe like a Princeton or something like that. Maybe that'll be something we do in the future. But other than that, it sounds really big. This could easily keep up with the drummer as long as he's not, you know, the hardest death metal drummer that you've ever played with. But this can do the job. I'd have no problems taking this out and gigging with it right now. And in regards to the drive channel, I think it's very versatile. If you have it dialed back all the way to about 9 and you switch from that really clean tone and you channel switch, you're not going to get too big of a volume boost, and it's going to give you just a little bit of crunch. Whereas sometimes with some amps, when you switch to the overdrive channel, it can be such a gigantic tonal switch and just a feel switch. It's a little bit overwhelming. But in this amp, if you have the gain dialed back and you have the master cranked, you're able to get convincing just kind of crunch tones out of it without really sacrificing too much. However, with that being said, if you want to use this strictly for the gain channel, I would definitely say it can do that. It really gets that true neck pickup tone that we love out of Strats and Telecasters. It really has that straight out of the box, no modifications needed. I think it sounds great with the gain around 3 o'clock. If you want to get crazy with it, it can max out a little bit more. I did it with the PRS a little bit, but for me, I think 3 o'clock's the sweet spot. And the tone knob, I like the tone knob, but I don't love the overall versatility of it. I think it gets really shrill, but I think part of that might be the speaker once you get past 3 o'clock on that. But it's not very often you're going to find yourself in a situation unless you're playing a really, really dark sounding guitar. And the only thing I really don't care for on this amp is the reverb. And I'm just somebody that's used to an analog spring reverb. I've had my vintage Music Man amp since as long as I can even remember. So when it comes to an emulated reverb, it's got to be really good for me to feel confident with using it. But luckily, I don't have to use it, so it's really a non-issue to me. But if you were somebody that was kind of relying on a reverb sound and trying to get that Fenderish style reverb, you're going to have to look elsewhere, or you're going to have to factor into your budget a pedal that's going to get you the tones you want, because this one, it does the kind of hall reverb a little bit, but it's not versatile, and it's certainly not usable when you soak it. But I'm really happy with it, just like I was happy with my KT88, although this is, like I said, a lot more giggable, and that big problem of switching channels and that gigantic dB boost when you would do that on the other one is not here on this amp, and I love that, and it's something I'm not going to have to worry about going into the future. So I think this guy's a keeper. It's a really good value. I think if you look around on Reverb, you can make offers on certain shops. They might be taking a little less than the asking price. Just throwing a heads up out there. Don't always pay the full price if you don't have to. Try and negotiate a little bit, just like I always say with anything. And that's pretty much all I have to say about this amp. I really like it. I think it's a winner, and if you see one, you should check it out. And one other little thing, if you noticed, I wasn't playing my best today. Some days we have off days, but today, oh man. I wanted to save this to the end because most people, they just want to see the info, hear the amp, and then they click out of the video. They don't watch to the end. I totally get that. But if you stuck around, I had part of my nail on my middle finger. It went ingrown. So it really hurts to play guitar today, but I needed to get this demo done. It was supposed to be the Harley Benton, but it didn't show up, just like the Japanese Les Paul. It's still not here. I called, it's been in Miami since Friday, and that's 90 minutes away, and they just don't want to deliver it to me. So looks like we're going to be doing FedEx from now on when we order our stuff from Japan. But that's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully tomorrow we get a guitar to go over. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Leave a like if you like what I'm doing on this channel. I really do appreciate that. Subscribe if you haven't already. And other than that, we'll see you tomorrow with one of those Les Pauls. Doesn't matter which one. Take it easy, you guys.